Never thought I'd be here, but yet here I am. This weekend my wife, 38F, and our daughter, 13F, went to visit her mom. I couldn't go because I couldn't get the time off work, and we decided it would just be a girls' weekend for them. I'm a firefighter in a large southern city, and I'm on a call and gearing up when our dispatcher calls in to tell me that there is some emergency. I'm not really needed on the work call, so I get my cell phone and find a bunch of texts from my kid, and a couple from a number I don't have in my phone. In the course of about 11 text messages, I learn that my daughter has gone ice skating and fallen and broken her wrist. She's in the emergency room, but cannot get treatment because no one can find my wife. The number that I don't know belongs to a friend of my wife's who has gone to the emergency room to sit with my kid. She was the chaperone for the girls who had gone skating. So I call this friend, and after a lot of hemming and hawing, she admits that wifey has gone to dinner with some random guy. Well, we always leave our location shared with the family because of my job. And sure enough, I pull up an address and Google it, and it's a freaking hotel. This was 10 p.m. It's now almost 4 hours later and she hasn't answered my texts, but she did finally call our kid. I have permission and insurance information and she got a cast and a referral to see an orthopedist when she gets home. The friend took our daughter back to her grandmother's and texted me. She said, "I'm sorry you had to find out this way about a guy's name. Apparently it's been going on every time she's gone home that I haven't gone. Meanwhile, I've worked countless hours of overtime to pay off our house, take us a nice vacations, send our daughter to the most expensive private school in our city. I'm a fool." Now for the top comments. Lawyer and file for divorce. You're not a fool, buddy, your wife is. You were doing your family duties and working hard for y'all's life. I guess all the family knows now at least what kind of slore your wife is. Send your wife back to her parents. I am so sorry. What a piece of shush your wife is. You know what to do. Save all the texts between you and that friend. Get a lawyer. Do not waver. If your lawyer clears you, for sure, let as many people in your circle know so she doesn't control the narrative. Stay strong. She will try to win you back. If AP has a spouse, tell the spouse. Work on you and focus. Do not let her weasel back in. You can spend some time looking at so many stories in this sub. Look at the ones who reconciled and took them back. It doesn't change. Everybody thinks they are the exception or special. They're not. I'm so sorry for your situation. Your wife was disloyal to both your daughter and you. That's lower than low. See a divorce lawyer this week. Now for the first update. Spoke with a lawyer, as many of you suggested. During that conversation, I realized that she doesn't really have a lot of access to money that is hers. Removed her as an authorized user of my credit cards. Put two-factor authentication on just about anything else that she might try to get her hands on. Pulled my credit report to discover that she opened a joint credit card I didn't know about. Since I'm on the account as well, I was able to log in and print out the charges. A basically perfect timeline of restaurants and hotels that she has paid for. Turns out she also has accounts on Tinder and Bumble, which showed up when I combed through the last few phone bills. Have a pal who is a deputy sheriff in these parts, who is going to be here tonight when she gets home. I've gotten her a room at a nearby hotel for the week and paid for it up front. She can sleep there for now and figure it out on her own starting tomorrow. Daughter and I spoke and she knows what is up and is angry at mom. So next steps are to find someone for her to talk to. Thanks to my job, I've got great insurance, so that is one less thing to worry about. Decided I'm also going to come clean to her mother once wife and daughter are on the plane back here, taking a couple of days off to deal with this. Thanks for the advice, everyone. I'll probably yank these posts down tonight or tomorrow, so if you have any other last-minute advice, now is the time. Now for the top comments. Holy shit, she opened a credit card in your name to pay for her affair. Wow, that's really conniving. Good luck, my guy. Don't delete these. Let this be a blueprint for future men on how to handle situations like this or similar. You may be helping someone months or years down the line. You're doing the right thing, buddy. Protect you and your child at all cost. She might try to manipulate you/your daughter, so be careful. Also, there's no way to let the dude's wife know that she's being cheated on as well? Fellas, this is how you handle situations like these. The pick-me dance only prolongs the pain by degrading your own masculinity, integrity, principles, and respect for yourself. This not only emasculates yourself in your own eyes, but in the eyes of your children, family friends, and hers. If and when, statistically you will, end up in a situation like this, 180, no contact, gray rock. Be strong for your family, kids, and yourself. If you feel the need to cry, absolutely do it, but not in front of her or your kids. Get counseling for you and any other innocent victims involved, kids, and keep it moving. I hope you heal quickly from this. Now for the final update. This will be the final update on this sad situation. First off, thanks to everyone who weighed in. It's amazing the number of fellow firefighters and LEOs I've heard from who are in similar situations. I took a few days of personal time away from the job in order to deal with all of this. The soon-to-be ex-wife and our daughter returned home late Sunday, and my daughter immediately fled to her room and closed the door. My wife said something along the lines of, "I guess you must be pretty mad at me." And I told her the truth, that I was numb. The anger would come later, and it would be best if she was somewhere else for a while. My friend, the deputy sheriff, was there and said he would sit on the deck and be there if I needed him. I told the wife that I was recording this conversation to protect me and my rights as a husband and father, and she said fine. I suspected at this point that she really seemed to think that she was going to talk her way out of it. What I didn't tell her was that I'd spent most of the last week talking with friends, my parents, my battalion chief at work, as well as a lawyer and a therapist. I've got a ton of leave and a supportive bunch of coworkers, and if I need to take months off to deal with this, I can. I just said that I was disappointed in her, but mostly I was angry that our daughter got caught in the crossfire of her bad behavior, that she had put our child at risk to get laid. She didn't admit or deny, but then her tone changed, and she almost immediately started in on saying things like, "Remember the time we..." trying to get me to remember good times. After about 3 of those mentions, I told her the truth. I couldn't trust my memories because I had no idea what she might have been doing. When that didn't work, she went into the whole, "I was lonely because you were working so much" crap. I reminded her that we made a deal about how to pursue a future where we could retire early. I got so mad at this point that I pointed out to her that if she had behaved, we could have retired when she was 48 or so, but that I wanted her to remember that promise, because now she is going to have to work for herself. I'm not usually a vindictive person, but I like the idea of her having to work until she's 70 years old and being angry every time she gets dressed to go to a job that she hates. Side note, one of my work buddies who is also married, he and his family have vacationed with us a couple of times too, made this observation. Every time we've gone somewhere, there's been a day or two where my wife has contrived an excuse to be apart from the family. So I played a hunch and said something like, "This wasn't the first time. This was just the first time you got caught." And she just hung her head and very quietly said yes. So I have that admission on tape. She went to the hotel without objection. She wrote me long emails saying things like, "I'm sorry, and I'm not sure why I did what I did." I did not reply. Before she even got home, I'd spoken with her mother and told her about the fact that she was at a hotel with another man while her daughter was in the emergency room, and also about the credit card that she opened. Her mother did not say much, but I told her that if I had any inkling that she was aiding and abetting the wife's bad behavior, that I would severely limit her access to her granddaughter. That was probably a mistake on my part, but I was just so freaking angry. The mother-in-law swears that she knew nothing and that she was worried sick that something had happened to my wife when no one could reach her. I also told the mother-in-law that I was not going to allow the wife back into the house if I could do so, and that I expected her to understand that I've never yelled or hit or cheated or done anything else other than the things I promised to do when we got engaged. That seemed to resonate with her. My wife's parents split up when she was in high school because her dad was a serial cheater. So maybe that registered with her mom. I sent a text to the friend who took my daughter to the emergency room. I told her I didn't particularly care if she replied. I said I appreciated her being at the ER with my daughter. But I also said that if she had previous knowledge of where my wife was going, then she should know that she had a huge part in destroying my family, and that a true friend would never encourage shitty behavior. I haven't figured out how to get in touch with her husband yet, but I suspect, based on just sort of reading between the lines, that she and my wife were kind of egging each other on. Thursday morning, I got a text from the wife saying that her mother had rented her a furnished apartment pretty close to our house, and that she would like to come and get some personal things on Friday when I went to work. I said that was fine. I should point out that during all of this, she only texted our daughter one time, and even in her communications with me, she never even asked about her. When she told me she got the apartment, she didn't ask if our daughter could come visit. I told her that I wasn't working on Friday, but that I would be out of the house for a couple of hours so she could get some things. I left, but I had a process server waiting across the street, and when she pulled up in the driveway, he handed her divorce papers. They included a notice from my attorney that I intend to file for sole custody and that she would have visitation rights. She called my voicemail, and she was almost incoherent with rage. I've never heard her so angry, or frankly, sounding so unbalanced. Also, my lawyer had a very good suggestion that I will pass along for anyone else in this position. I got a new cell phone. I don't carry the phone that has the number the wife knows. I've only given a few people the new number. My lawyer, my sister, my daughter, my boss, a couple of good friends from work. I take a look at the old phone once a day and see if there's anything I need to deal with. I know there's a lot of other advice out there that I did not touch on, But there is no need for a paternity test because my daughter looks exactly like me. I will get an STD panel, but I don't think that's an issue either. My lawyer did get notified that the wife has hired a lawyer. But I made it clear that I'm going to stay in the house, and the daughter is going to stay there with me. I may have to write her a large check thanks to the vagaries of family law, but at this point, I really don't give a damn. I'd probably add a 0 to the check if I could get rid of her 6 months earlier. Now for the top comments. Take care of you and your daughter. Get therapy for both of you. You will be okay. Well done, bro. Best of luck with the divorce outcomes. She trash and will be trash, but not your trash. It's going to be awesome when the affair fog completely dissipates. You're handling this really well. I admire that. But more than that, I hope that when you get some time to process everything on a personal level, that you'll have some good friends who will be there for you. Don't hesitate to reach out to them, or to avail yourself of professional resources if you start to get depressed. Good luck to you. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's story. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.